Today, what we're going to do is we're going to look at a rum from Thailand, which is made by the Som Distillery. We've reviewed a couple of these before. And while it may be too early to say so, I get the impression sometimes that we are going to see more from the Far East, especially from major sugar producing nations, well, like India or Thailand or Indonesia or what have you. And it's just distribution that's keeping us stopping us from getting some of these things. Now, the Som brand has been around for quite a while. It's, of course, it comes from a distillery of the same name, and that is in its turn owned by Thai Bev, which is a spirits conglomerate based out of Bangkok. There are other rums out of Thailand that we've heard about before, though. Two of the most famous from the indie and connoisseur aspect are Chalong Bay and Isan, which both are what I think are actually quite interesting and very good rums. The Shakara is also from there, but for contractual reasons, they're not allowed to say which distillery makes it. I used to think it was Som, but I was told in no uncertain terms that wasn't the case, which is a corrective I've had to make in the original review. What we've got here is something else from Som, which is called Phraya. Now, Phraya is a name that is a title of the Thai nobility, but it's also the name of a river that runs through Bangkok, so that's where they got the name from. And it was first established in 2011. There are, at this point, 3 different varieties of the rum. There's the Elements, there's the 8-year-old, and then there's the Elements deep aged or something like that, deep matured, which is about 7 to 12 years old. This is the bottom of the line and is bottled at 40%. And however, the standards of production seem to be very straightforward. I think from a presentation and marketing point of view, this is an attempt by Som and Thai Bev to start to populate the premium rum space. I mean, if you look at the website, it's really, really well laid out. The bottle is handsome as anything. You can see a picture of it here. There is an effort made to really make it seem as something quite premium. That said, I think it's something of a branding and marketing term, and the elements part of it is related to the 4 ancient elements of, reality, whether it's, I think it was Greeks or Romans, I forget which, but also in the Far East, fire, air, earth, water, which impact the making of the rum. Air because of aging and so on. And then there is earth, which the sugarcane grows in, water, of course, and fire because the barrels in which it was made were charred and so on. Okay, I'm a sucker for a good story, so who am I to rain on their parade? It's nice, The bottom line of it, though, is that the rum derives from molasses made from Thai sugarcane. There's an estate not too far. The distillery is actually located about 100 miles to the west of Bangkok. It has a short fermentation time. It's run through a multi-column still and then aged in charred ex-bourbon barrels for 5 to 7 years. The 8 is for 8 years or so, and the deep matured is 7 to 12. But this is the younger one. There's something about the website that says 12, from RumX that says it's 12 years old. It's not, right? Unless they confused it. It's definitely 5 to 7 years old. I did confirm that. There is a bit of a blurb in the marketing materials that say that the barrels were aged next to a bunch of lagoons so that the ambient temperature could be kept down, so the tropical aging could be somewhat retarded, so they could get a better taste out of it. Well, we can argue about that, right? The thing is, though, from what I've described here, I think you could be within your rights to understand that this is very much in the Latin/Spanish/Cuban style, which is to say short fermentation time, multi-column still, pushed into the barrels, and then the barrels are blended into the final product, right? It's different from others, of course, but we're quite familiar with this. The marketing and all of this production details, I'm not convinced that they either help or hinder what at the end is a perfectly serviceable product, right? It's a mid-range 40% rum for those who aren't into spirit. In that sense, it's really quite nice, but it's not one that stands out in any particular way. I mean, take a look at the nose, right? The nose is caramel, it's vanilla notes, toffee, blancmange, a little bit of orange, black grapes, red wine, a deep sense of overripe mangoes. There's a touch of citrus in there just to give a little bit of bite, but not a whole lot. And it is nicely sweet, but not too much. Again, I tested out at 40%, so I don't think it's been doctored in any way. The taste, though, If I had to use a single word for this, I'd have to say unadventurous. All right. It's at standard strength. We're not seeing much that we haven't already seen. The nose gave it all away already. We're seeing some honey, vanilla, creme brulee, a little bit of toffee, a bit of almonds. There's some nuts in there, which is nice. Lighter fruity notes, vague Christmas of lychees and lemon zest, and to be honest, not a whole lot of that. And then there's some coconut shavings and some kind of soda like cola and so on. And the finish is okay. It's clean, it's light, syrup, caramel, honey, vanilla, and that's just about it. Of late, I've been traveling around quite a bit, and I've tasted rums from across the spectrum. Of course, I've got samples just, taking up a whole bunch of space. And I keep hoping to find new and interesting rums that take the spirit in new and interesting directions, if not actually new ones. And for all of its size and popularity, Phraya, at least not this one, really isn't it. It's on a par with a young Havana Club, perhaps, or a Bacardi Añejo or a Gold, any of those kind of young-aged rums, which is not surprising given its production details, right? It can be had by itself, neat, as a hot weather drink, I think. But unfortunately, that's it. There really isn't a whole lot about it that excites a sort of enthusiasm that would make you run out of bed. The marketing is, as I say, quite brilliant. But over and beyond that, we've tried this before. There isn't anything that squeaks Thailand or squeaks Far East or says, say what you will about the Indian rums and their jaggery profiles or their spice or whatever. You do at least get a sense, oh yeah, this is from India. And as the Rumcast boys did say, Shakara, oh yeah, we know this is Thailand, but this just doesn't give you that impression at all. Over and beyond that, there's not much more I'm going to say. I'm going to score this at around 7 to 9 points. I think that's just about fair. It's an entry-level rum. It is perfectly serviceable for what it is if you like the softer styles of rum at 40%, but it doesn't break any new ground. And at the end of it all, it's not the sort of thing that I'd run out and buy, unfortunately. So let's hope that the ones that are up the scale, which I'll go through next, are better. We'll soon see. All right. And that's about it for today. Have a really nice day. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.